As supporters listen on, Senator Barack Obama makes one last dash to win votes prior to tomorrow's primaries. And when the rearview mirror is just not enough, the rearview camera option gives the driver a more accurate and clearer picture of what's standing behind them. Tornadoes ripped this place apart, and even today Lafayette County residents are left without their main source of communication. Between both men, about 34 years of time was served for these murders. Murders they never committed. After shooting 3 victims, the suspect stole the officer's patrol car, then fled after leaving the car in a ditch at this bank, and was finally apprehended here after police shot him in the back of his head. With the Ku Klux Klan saying so many derogatory things against different races, one may ask, why did minorities come out to witness this? There was certainly enough snow for a long-anticipated snow fight. President Bill Clinton will mark his footsteps across Tupelo. This is the largest turnout that they have seen in the past 4 years. Now, if you have not voted and you still want to get out and cast your ballot, you have about 2 hours left. The facility that Mr. Anderson mentioned will bring in more attack mode type helicopters, and construction of that runway is set to begin by summer. We are live and local here at the Tupelo Regional Airport. I'm Rick Jackson. Back to you, Craig.
Thanks.
Well, today I spoke with a few people about their opinions on the ads. Got up extra early this morning to get their shoes laced, to get their stretch on, to be a part of this race. Gives you the opportunity to put your skills in motion. This is the result that the people here see every day. Tomorrow's vote will determine if smokers are gonna have to put it out in public places. Having an additional umbrella on hand hardly qualifies as a safety precaution for the severe weather that lies ahead. That's right, Craig. President Fogelson called it quits today after heading the university just short of 2 years. People are having to decide whether to keep that fancy watch or have enough gas money to make it to work each day. Approximately 150 feet away from what used to be a convenience store, this barn here was destroyed as well, with farm animals trapped inside.
The family of one of the victims speaks out.
It's been nearly 24 hours since the Columbus shooting that could have claimed the lives of 4 people. Dorothy Hearn was one of the victims shot last night, and today her family is hoping for the best.
None of the bullets hit none of her organs. It's just landing in the tissue only, and they removed the bullets real safely, and she's recovering real nice right now.
Police say Hearn's husband, 70-year-old Linnell Hearn, approached her and former councilman Carmel Kareem near this gas station yesterday just before 5 p.m. Authorities believe he had suspicion of the two having an affair, which motivated him to shoot them both. Moments later, they say he shot Columbus police officer Guy Taylor, who responded to the 911 call. McLeod says he was at a loss for words when he discovered that his stepfather had allegedly opened fire on his mother.
There's something like that, which you know that's your mom, so your first reaction is going to be something that you shouldn't do. And that's just being all honest with you, but hopefully I came to some kind of agreement with myself that didn't do anything I had no business doing.
After shooting 3 victims, the suspect stole the officer's patrol car, then fled after leaving the car in a ditch at this bank, and was finally apprehended here after police shot him in the back of his head. While the suspect recovers at University Medical Center in Jackson, the 3 other victims remain at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle in stable condition. With the realization that matters could have been worse, this family is relying on their faith to get them through this difficult time.
The grace and mercy of God.
All right.
Always get me through. I'm standing on His word.
In Columbus, Rick Jackson, WTVA News. It's been 5 years of combat, 5 years of indifference and uncompromising. It's been 5 years since President Bush launched the United States invasion of Iraq. Trent Kelly spent nearly a year fighting in the Iraqi war and says that it's hard for people to make speculations about the war unless they were actually in the midst.
The one thing I did learn the most is that you can't rely on the reports that you get out of there. Being there on the ground is a whole lot different from what you see on TV because there's so much, you get a different sense and a different feeling. I don't think it's a misreporting or anything. I think you just get a different feeling. So it's really hard to tell what's going on there now without actually being on the ground, being there.
A new analysis showed that in 2008, the war would cost some $12 billion a month. Kelly says that he can't say whether or not the money put out is sufficient to reaching the success President Bush sought out for, but is certain that even 5 years later, the problems in Iraq are not fixable overnight.
But I don't think it's a short-term fix, and I don't think anybody who thinks it's going to be a year fix. I don't think it can happen like that. It takes a long time for a nation to build. Look how long it's taken our nation to build.
Since 2003, nearly 4,000 American men and women have died as a result of the war in Iraq. Becky Lambert's son, Sergeant Jonathan Lambert, was one of the fallen soldiers.
Jonathan believed in everything that this war means. He wanted to protect this country, protect the future of his daughter and his family, and also he wanted to keep the evil there where it would not come to here.
This Memorial Day will mark 5 years since her son's accident in Iraq. Her fond memories are being kept alive in this last photo the two took together, the last letter he wrote to her, and most of all, through the smile of his 6-year-old daughter, Kenzie Jade, who was only 2 at the time of her father's death. Becky says she's a proud mother of an American hero.
He was a Marine 100% and the most wonderful son. A mother could not have asked for or to be proud of the son that I am with Jonathan.
Reporting in Boonville and Tupelo, Rick Jackson, WLOV News.
Hello, everybody.
Senator Barack Obama addressed an audience of about 2,000, touching subjects varying from the strained economy to solutions to what he sees as stumbling blocks of the country.
If you are ready for change, then we can go ahead and tell the lobbyists and the fat cats and the special interests that are running Washington, their days of setting the agenda are over.
Obama says that he has no intention to take the seat as Vice President of the United States, being that he has won more states, delegates, and popular votes than Senator Clinton.
I don't know how somebody who's in second place is offering the vice presidency to the person who's in first place.
And after hearing the presidential candidate nominee speak, his supporters say that he's the logical choice.
Usually a Republican kind of guy, but I think he was pretty good on, pretty agreeable on Iraq and energy efficiency and everything. I'm all about that.
I am 65 years old, and I hope to God that I live to get 66 because I will be here when Obama takes over as President of the United States of America.
In Columbus, Rick Jackson, WTVA News.